morning. I am so happy that you all are here with me today. How has your day been going? How has it started off? I'm praying that it has been a good day for you so far. I know for many of us, we are in different time zones. Right now, in my time zone, it's 7:02 in the morning, so it's still quite early. But we're going to acknowledge that this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Today, I'm not going to keep you all for long, but I do want to share some encouraging words to those that this message may be for. Recently, the Lord has been dealing with me. I'm in the area of relationships, in the area of friendships. And when I say dealing with me, I have always been this woman. I have always been this person that when you come into my life and you good for me, or something about a characteristic of yours, I would literally hold on to you. I would probably hold on to you longer than what I should have. Okay. So the Lord has been dealing with me in this season of that, because right now I'm still in a season, me and my children are still in a season of transition, right? And the Lord, He is so strategic and He is so intentional that the Lord will send the right people in your life, at that pace and at that time that He know that it'll be good for you. So that's what He's been doing in my life, over the course of these last few months. I have met good people, kingdom people, but at the same time, I have also sensed a shift in some of these friendships as well. Okay, so I'm like, Lord, I thought you sent this person. I thought this person was gonna be with me for the long run. And when I say for the long run, I'm talking about longer than the actual season that they have been in my life. And He brought me to Amos 3:3. And before I touch on that, the reason why I said that again, I have always had this heart that when I love you, I love you, right? So I hold on to people. Well, I used to, let me put it like that. I used to hold on to people that was outdated. When the Lord told me to walk away from this person or these people, I typically held on to them longer than what I should have, right? So again, I'm in this season of rebuilding, and I really don't have, that a strong support system in the sense of family, close by and things like that. And God is still good in that area, because God will send you the right people, right? God will send you the right community in the right time, and not in our timing, because, as humans, we don't like to be alone. We would love to have, even if it's just one person to walk with us, right? But sometimes God is so strategic that, again, He'll send the right people at the right time in your life. But again, I have sensed a shift in some of those friendships, and that doesn't make it bad. They still good people, but I was struggling to let go. I was struggling to understand, Lord, what are you doing? What are you doing? I thought this person was from you. And I know, that, these people were from Him, but at the same time, I was struggling because I had walked in a season in the wilderness season for quite some time now, and I'm still there. So it was refreshing to receive a friend. It was refreshing to feel like I was back in community. It was refreshing to not feel, sometimes we feel alone, even though we'll never be alone as long as we have God, right? But when this friend came along, it was just a refreshment, because not only that, it was an answer prayer for me, because I found myself, like I said, for me and my kids, we still in a transition season, right? We in between places. We're not quite in the promised land, but we're not no longer in Egypt either, right? But it's some things, obviously, a process that all of us have to go through, right? Before the Lord gives us what He desires for us to have. So in this time and in this season, I was praying to the Lord. I was crying out to Him. I said, Lord, just send me somebody, just send me somebody that's, have your heart, that has some of your characteristics, that can help hold my hand, because I get lonely sometimes. I want somebody to talk to. I just don't want anybody to talk to. I want somebody that loves the Lord like I do. I want our friendships, be, found on a solid foundation, which is the Lord, right? So eventually he answered that prayer for me. It took a while in my, in my human mindset. It took a while, but eventually he answered that prayer. So like I said, fast forward a couple months now, I start feeling, maybe up until a few weeks, I start sensing a shift in season altogether. Not just in the friendship aspect, but altogether. I just been, sometimes your body know, the spirit knows, okay, it's time for me to pivot. It's time for me to be in tune with the spirit, because it's something going on. I feel it. I was restless, and that was the Lord reassuring me, you are in a new, you finna step into a new season, right? So in that new season, he started to give me the urge, and I started picking up on something that he was releasing some people from my life. And I'm just like, hold on, God, you can't do that. I was in a battle, right? Because I'm like, hey, I've been in this wilderness season for so long, and it felt like I haven't had friends, I haven't had community in so long, and you telling me that I have to let these people go, And so he brought me to Amos 3:3, and it states, "Can two walk together unless they have agreed?" And so I was like, Lord, speak to me. Sometimes you just got to get by yourself before you start getting the wrong perception of God, or before you start questioning some things like, hey, did I make this friendship out of my own flesh, or was this your doing? But again, he reassured me that it was his doing. But again, it was time to release some people. So he brought me again, like I said, to Amos 3:3, and it reads, "Can two walk together unless they have agreed?" So we can literally take we can literally take can as a question. Is it even possible? Can be translated as a question. Is it even possible? Two, in a sense of you and God, or you and somebody else. Can you two? Is it even possible for you two to walk together, you and God, or you and somebody else, to walk up together, right, in unity on the same shared path and the same shared purpose, right? Unless you two deliberately make a decision to walk together in purpose. So I said all that to say that I think for a lot of God's children, a lot of you, that we are waiting for God to take us to the next level. A lot of us is in transitions. We waiting for God for many reasons, right? But I believe also that it's not necessarily that we waiting for God. God is waiting on us, because I believe honestly that God has been speaking to a lot of us about certain relationships, certain friendships, right? And he has been trying to call us out of those things, because a lot of people just can't go with us, right? And we have this tendency to try to hold on to people that is no longer share the same path. That does not make this person bad, right? That don't mean that something tragically had to happen, or they just bad people. Some people just don't share the same purpose as you. Some people will slow your pace down, right? Some people, they might be godly people, they might be kingdom people, right? But if they don't share the same purpose as you, or they're not fully in alignment with what the Lord has for your life, then the pace is going to be slow, and you're not going to move as fast as you should have, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense to y'all. So I said all that to say that if you find yourself in a season and the Lord has been speaking to you about promises, and he has been speaking to you about elevation, he has been speaking to you about the next level, and you may have found yourself feel like you have been waiting on God, I want you to sit with yourself and ask yourself, who in your circle has God been speaking to you about? And this can be family, and this can be friends. This can go either way. That that the Lord has been telling you it's time to let go, and you have been having a difficult time letting go. Okay, because sometimes when we share time with people, right? Sometimes when we grew up with people, right, that makes it even harder to be able to let go. But do know that sometimes God won't take us to the next level. Sometimes we can't reach, or we can't get that blessing until God let go. We have to let go of certain people. Look at Abraham a lot. Abraham was called from among his people, and Lot couldn't come, but we know that Lot did. But we seen that it was some type of confusion, right, that happened over the land that the Lord was giving Abraham when Lot came along, right? But at the same time, we have to recognize that if we want all the blessings of the Lord, and I don't want this to be so focused on the blessing, but if we just want to just be in alignment, and we just want to be in our purpose, right, we have to realize Are we in alignment with God? Is these people that we have in our circle the type of people that can walk with us long term? Do they see the vision? Do they support the vision? Can you pour into this person? Can this person pour into you, right? That's the big thing that the Lord was highlighting to me. With Amos 3:3 was alignment. Alignment. A lot of us, we waiting for God, and He's just saying, "Hey, I'm waiting for you to release that person, those people that I've been speaking to you about." Right. And like I said, sometimes it's hard for us to let go of people because they have been there for us. They're good people. Not all people that God call for us from being around are bad people. They're literally good people. They're kingdom people. They're godly people. But sometimes when the alignment don't line up, sometimes when the purpose don't match, God will call you from around those people, or sometimes He'll call you from around them for a season so you can work up on you, and then He can work up on them. And sometimes your paths may cross again, and sometimes they won't. But in the meantime, you have to trust God that if He ordained a thing, it's for a reason. So again, I don't know if any of you guys have is like me, but I have always been this person that I typically, and God has been uprooting things like that for me, that I typically make a seasonal person into a covenant type of friendship. I would literally take a seasonal friendship, a friendship that only supposed to last for a season, however the Lord, for an assignment, whether I was their assignment or they was my assignment, and I would turn them into a covenant friendship. And then I wonder why when it comes to an end, I'm always hurt behind it, and I'm always like, what did I do or what went wrong? When the Lord was trying to speak to me then, in early on, and say, hey, don't get too comfortable, because this is just for an assignment. He or she is just your assignment, or you their assignment. But again, we need to recognize the people that's in our circle. Are they seasonal friends? Are they just there for an assignment? Are you serving that assignment, or are they serving you? And then you got to recognize your covenant friendships, because the Lord been speaking to me about that. Covenant friendships, they're going to be in alignment with you. They're going to be about it. They're going to be willing to walk with you. They're going to be able to see that vision. They're going to be able to pour into you, and you're going to be able to pour into them. And it does not matter how hard the walk gets, that covenant friend gonna be right there. And that's one thing that the Lord want all of us, I believe, to strive for, is to have a covenant friendship, right? I have always talked about this, that we can go party with people, we can go out with people, we can, just go to the movies, just do our regular things, right? Then we can have a covenant friendship, we can have a covenant partnership. But we also need to know that when a friendship is up, or when a season is up, that don't mean like the hay and the buys have to necessarily discontinue. It just means it's going to look different this season, and that's what the Lord been speaking to me. And as bad as, and I shed a couple tears, I'm not gonna lie, I shed a couple tears, because again, I'm a person that when I love you, right? But at the same time, if the Lord said, I am doing a new thing, and I need you to come along with this shift, I need you to be in alignment with this shift that's happening, because you have to realize that the assignment is complete, the assignment is done. And not only that, if I take somebody, or I remove somebody from your life, I will replace somebody. So always remember that, whoever is watching this, children of God, that if God remove people from your life, no matter how hard it is, no matter if you grew up with these people, just know that He will replace it. He can replace them with more people that's aligned for your current season, okay? That's more aligned for the purpose that He has called you to. And that's what we should all strive to get to, is always remember Amos 3:3. Can two walk together unless they agree? And agreement is so, it's so intentional, right? It's so important that we position ourselves to be in agreement, first of all, with the Lord, to make sure that we are in His will and we're doing everything that He has called us to do. And second of all, the people that we choose to have in our circle, to have in our life, is this what God called us to do? Is this the person that God called us to be with? This is the same in marriage. When we begin to date and we begin to marriage, are we in alignment? Are we equally yoked? All that makes sense, even down to, equally yoked is usually used in the terms of marriage, but let's talk about it in friendships. It matters just as much in friendships, because you can still be in a friendship that's good, and it's great, and both of you guys get along, but still be out of alignment in the will of God as well. So just remember that. And like I said, it's something that I'm constantly got. God is constantly uprooting from me, because I have had a taste of kingdom friendships, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's worth walking with God. You know, it's worth walking with God to receive all that He has for you, all that the Lord has for you. And having kingdom people, being in a kingdom covenant, being in a kingdom, kingdom family is so worth it. So keep walking with God. Allow Him to minister to you. Allow Him to show you the people that's for you, and the people that He's saying, in this season, time is up. It's time to, walk away. It's time for them to walk away. It's time for you to continue to be in alignment with the people that I have for you. And just remember, at that pace that you walking at, always remember that at that time when God knows that you need somebody, He will send the right people along to help you. Okay, so you will never miss out on the person, if you in the will of God, and if you in alignment with God, that God will have for you when you walking in alignment and when you walking in your purpose. Okay, so this is for those that, if the Lord has been speaking to you about a certain person, a certain people that's in your life, and maybe you've been struggling to let them go. Maybe it's been hard, but at the same time, you trusting for the Lord to elevate you. You trusting for the Lord to take you higher, and you think you've been waiting for the Lord, and all the time He's saying, "No, my darling, no, no, my son, you have not been waiting for me. You have not been waiting for me. I've been waiting for you." Because some people just cannot go. Some people just cannot go to the next level that I'm taking you to. And sometimes, yeah, it hurts. It hurts. What can we say? We human, and the Lord understands that. The Lord understands when it hurt, when He asks us to let go of people for many reasons, and they don't have to be bad people. He understands that. He's sympathetic and He's compassionate towards our feelings. But at the same time, feelings are fleeting. And sometimes when we get to a certain destination or a certain point, we can look back and say, "Ah, Lord, thank you. I see why I had to let that person go. I see why that person couldn't come with me. I see why, you working all this, all that time in the background while I was stressed and letting that person go. It was so hard for me to, let them go. You was working this all for my good. You had somebody better. You had people that was better aligned for my assignment." And sometimes, like I said, it don't necessarily mean that you have to let people go. It can be just a shift in friendships. It can be a shift in friendship to a everyday friend become a every now and then friend. So a friend that you normally will talk to every day will become a every now and then friend. Okay, so always sit with the Lord and ask Him what it is, or who it is that He's trying, who it is, or them that He has been speaking to you about regarding your next season, and turn it over to God. He's not asking you to let go of people that you love, or people that has been there for you in your own strength. Sometimes we can't do it outside of God. Like, we can't let go of certain people, certain things outside of God. And He's not requiring for us to do that, right? He's not requiring for us to let go of certain people or things without Him. He's asking us to depend on Him, but also be a willing participant to let go of people and remove ourselves out of the environment and away from people that no longer serve us. We have to come to, the conclusion sometimes that seasons is over with, that seasons have ran its course, that some friendships has run its course. Okay, and we don't have to walk away angry. We don't have to walk away bitter. We just have to continue to trust the Lord that He's working all this for our good. I hope this message blesses you guys. And like I said, I hope it keeps you. And I pray that this was some type of encouragement for you guys. And I hope and pray that you all can find joy in today. And even if you can't, think about something that makes you joyous. Think about a reason why you can have joy, and ponder on that. Ponder on things that's pure, just, praiseworthy, and true. And I promise you, your day will be better. Until next time, thank y'all for stopping by. God bless y'all. I'll check in with y'all soon. Bye-bye.